Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a February reads wrap up. So all the books that I read in February we're going to be talking about here today. I think I read about 5 books. For me, that is amazing. I usually, I just got back into reading, so 5 books in 1 month for me is a really good number. So I wanted to chat about the books that I read. I've had a lot of people ask about some more details about, why I liked or disliked these books. So anyway, here we are. It's almost mid-March, but let's make this video and let's chat about these books. The first book I actually started in January. I struggled through this book. I should have DNF'd it, but I didn't because I thought surely it's going to get better. I'm going to love it. And I just didn't. And the book I'm talking about is Peter Pan. This is a classic children's tale, Peter Pan. Now, there were portions, I did tab a little bit in this book because there were a couple of little quotes and things that I found interesting in this book. But for the most part, I found this book to be extremely disappointing. It was extremely dark. I thought it was, I don't know. I found the characters annoying. I did not appreciate the nonsensical aspect of this story. It did not grip me. I did not care. I didn't want to continue reading it. I had to force myself to read this book. I did end up finishing it and I will never read it again because I just did not like it. Now, I don't know. I have not read almost any classic children's novels. I did read Jane Eyre in the end of December and the beginning of January, and I know that's not a children's book, but I loved Jane Eyre. So I thought to myself, maybe I will love classics, even children's classics books. But that was not the case for this one. It was a very, very low rating for me. I think I gave it 2 or maybe even 1 star for me. So it wasn't my cup of tea. I know some people who absolutely love this, and that's fine, but it was not for me. So, yeah, I found all the characters just extremely annoying. So yeah, there's that. All right, the next book that I read in February was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I have kids running in and out, you guys. That's just the way it's going to be in my videos. I can't change it. It is what it is. So I read The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This book was interesting. I've never read any books by Neil Gaiman. I thought, let me give this a try. And it was a really interesting read. I loved the prose from Neil Gaiman. The way he told the story was absolutely wonderful. Essentially, this book is about a man who is returning back to his childhood home as an adult. He's coming back to this town for a funeral. It never gives a lot of backstory about the character or what's going on in his life present day, but we do travel back to some interesting things that happened in his life as a child and some very interesting things that happened that he starts to remember and recall about a family who lived at the end of his road. It was really interesting read. It was unexpected in so many ways, and without giving any spoilers, I think that it was very well done, and it was something that I've never read before. There was a lot of, I would say, magical realism in this book, which is a genre that I don't have a lot of experience with, but I did sort of like that in this book. So I think I gave this 4 stars, and yeah, it was pretty good. So I would recommend it. Oh, let me real quick give a little bit of a trigger warning for this book. There is a scene of some child abuse in this book. It was hard for me to read and kind of disturbing. So if that's something that you are very sensitive about, then I just wanted to clue you in a little bit and give you a warning about that in this book. But overall, it was a good read. Okay, I had a dead battery, but now we got that situation taken care of. Let's move on with the rest of February's reads. Okay, so let's talk about this book right here. This book, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I did not know if I was going to enjoy this book or not. Basically, this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I kind of thought, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I'd heard some good things on the internet about this book, so I thought, let me give this a try. This book sucked me in within a few chapters, and it was a page turner, and I just wanted to continue reading it and find out what happened. I think I read this book in 2 days, maybe even, I think it was like 2 to 3 days I read this book, and it is not a small book. This is a 500-page book, and I just devoured it. It was so good. The main character is a girl with a disability, which I found really wonderful that they included this, protagonist with a disability, and really just gave a voice to that and showed her in such a wonderful strength and light. I just loved that that was the main character of this book. But she is so easy to root for. She is a tough cookie, and I just loved the main character of this book. It is a portal fantasy novel, so that was kind of fun to dive into that. But basically, the plot was really interesting, but the characters were so well developed. I love the main character, and actually the 2 main characters, and then there was a third whose name is Gray. And I fell in love with this character, you guys. Oh my goodness. The way he is written is so intriguing. And I just really fell in love with that character specifically. And, anyway, I don't want to give away a whole lot, but the story is so wonderful. There's a prince who's cursed, of course. And, I'm trying to think. Oh, the main character's name is Harper. I was trying to remember her name. So there's Harper, there's Prince Wren, and then there's his commander, Gray. And anyway, the storyline is so wonderful. So I finished this book. I gave it like 5 stars. I thought it was amazing. I immediately had to go and pick up the second installment in this series, which is A Heart So Fierce and Broken. I read this one in like 4 or 5 days. But this middle book so far in this series, it took a bit of a different path than I was expecting. So in the second book, we're following more of Gray's story, and it's just really interesting what happens. I don't want to give away any information really about the second book because it will be spoiler-ish if you haven't read them. But it dives even deeper into his story and his character development, and it's just I've heard some people don't like the second book as much as the first. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was just as gripping and exciting to me. So yeah, I love this book so much. Finished it very quickly. And then this one was just released not too long ago, about So Bold and Deadly, which is the last one so far in the series. I think there's going to be more because of the way this book ended. But again, it was so good. The way it ends leaves you kind of thinking there's more to this story, right? But yeah, it's called the Curse Breaker series, and of course this is a fantasy. It's just really good, you guys. I can't, go into it or rave about it enough, but I can't give a lot of specific details, but I loved it. I thought it was well worth the time, well worth the read. There was a little bit for my conservative Christian friends out there, which I know a lot of my subscribers are. Just as another warning for this series, there is a mention of a homosexual relationship as like it's not part of the main, focus of the book, but it's kind of like in the background. Definitely no graphic details, but it's just there. There's a mention of it, it's kind of just there. And so I didn't love that aspect, because of my beliefs, and if this offends, I apologize for this, but because of my strong conservative Christian beliefs, that goes against our beliefs. But because of that, I did dock it down 1 star. It would be a 5-star read for me if not for that situation. But overall, I loved it. I thought it was great, and I would recommend it. So that is all the books I read for February. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of hearing a little bit about the books. Sorry, I can't give a whole lot about what they're about, but just my thoughts on them. They were good and worth the read, and I kind of got lost in the country of Emberfall and its people, and oh my goodness, I just want to go back so badly, but I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna research and see like if there is plans for another book in the future. I really think there is, based on how the last book ended, but it did just come out, so I'm sure we'll have to wait at least a year for another book in this installment. But anyway, I have started my books for March. I'm super excited, reading some middle grades. If you guys have not checked out Middle Grade March, and they're the people who are coordinating that readathon, I will leave their channels linked down below. It's so much fun. I think it's The Curly Reader, Life Between Words, and who's the other one? Oh, Krista Books and Jams, and they are doing Middle Grade March. It's been so much fun so far. I am not like a huge fan of middle grade, and probably because I haven't read a whole lot of it. But the book that I just finished was middle grade, and it was really good. I am just finishing also the first book in the Nevermore, or I forget what the series is called, but the book is called Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. And I'm almost finished with that one, so I should have a lot to talk about in my March wrap-up video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and some comments down below, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.